another not a police, another pastor in Canada has been arrested for opening up church. Another one. This is the third one that we know of, at least. The third one. First, it was James Coates and his church, Grace Life. Then it was Pastor Art Pawlowski, which made the biggest headlines. And now Pastor Tim Stevens has just been arrested at his church in Calgary. And I'm just getting this from the Rebel here. I just researched this. It says that let me get my glasses. It says, moments ago, heavily armed police arrested Pastor Tim Stevens at his church in Calgary, and they arrested him in front of his family and took him to jail. Oh, there's a video. So I got to see this here. So I don't have the engineer here right now, so I'm going to have to do this on my own. But I want to see this because Canada's just going around arresting pastors like this. I mean, this is not good. God is not liking Canada right now. I'm telling you this. I'm telling you, God is not happy with Canada right now. And I don't know, something very bad, I think, is going to happen to Canada. I don't know whether it's going to be some type of weather problem or some violent terrorist attack, but just like what is happening in Israel right now, because the government, the Zionist government of Israel, is going against God by hogging up the Holy Land all to themselves when God gave that Holy Land to all three main Abrahamic religions of Christianity, Islam, and Jew. And the Jew is trying to take it all for themselves, and woe betide anybody who tries to say otherwise. And God has, as a result, cursed that country with violence and death and misery. Same thing is going to happen to Canada. Now, okay, so I have the video up here right now, so I'm going to share the screen. And let's see this. Let's see what's.
It's not the civil magistrate's job, the government's job, to regulate or restrict our worship. And so we're freely coming together, peaceful citizens, to worship Christ because he is worthy. In terms of what that means now, I don't really know. The government has obviously turned up the heat on churches, trying to discourage them from gathering together. I think they don't understand that Christians are committed to follow the Lord Jesus Christ, regardless of the consequences.
Absolutely. That's in the Bible too, by the way, you know. Hang on. Let me just pause. You know, that is actually in the Bible. You must always worship and remember the Sabbath. Remember the Sabbath and keep it holy. No matter what happens. I mean, Jesus was crucified. No matter what happens, you always remember the Sabbath. That's in the Bible. That is the Bible. And nobody, no government whatsoever, no politician, Jason Kenney, Justin Tackett, McNally, Doug Ford, nobody on earth can tell you not to remember the Sabbath. In fact, if you don't remember the Sabbath because of some order that some earthly power tells you, you're sinning. It's a sin. So the fact that this pastor is disobeying these tools of the New World Order, these police officers, means that he's going to heaven. He is blessed. That church, that area around that church, that school across the street, that road, the parking lot, the trees, the light post, everything has blessing around it because that pastor has defied earthly powers and he has remembered the Sabbath. That is the Bible. And all you so-called Christians out there, if you are not joining with all the pastors out there and remembering the Sabbath because you're afraid of getting arrested, you're going to face a worse consequence than arrest, because that's a sin. Let's continue here.
Injustice.
And I don't care what you say about these police just doing their jobs. They need to be remembering the Sabbath too. And the fact that they are listening to an earthly power over the orders and commands of God means that these guys are cursed. Them and their families are going to be cursed. I'm telling you. How can you tell me that church is unsafe? Church is the safest place. Church, God determines who's going to die from this virus. Church is the safest place anyone could be. There is no virus. And even if you do get a virus, it's God's will. It's God's will. It's not because you were too close to someone in church. It's God's will. But if you don't respect the Sabbath and you don't respect God, you go face a worse consequence than 10 million viruses. Look at what they're doing to this pastor. Look what they're doing to the pastor. Look what they're doing to the pastor. Look at that. Look at that. These police officers are cursed.
Adam Sos here for Rebel News with a troubling update. Pastor Tim Stevens of Fairview Baptist Church has been arrested for proceeding with worship today. For those of you not familiar with Pastor
I don't want
Tim
to share.
He's nothing like Pastor Art Pawlowski. He's a quiet, reserved man who is simply leading his congregation in worship. He didn't make this a large political deal.
Because
he wasn't
an
outspoken opponent to the
Rebel has been known to go after people who share too much of their content. I just wanted you to see the video. I don't want to copy anything from Rebel. I just wanted you to see another Canadian pastor being arrested. This makes 3 now. This makes 3. And in front of his family, look at the indecencies that they are doing to Canadian Christians everywhere. God is going to curse Canada. And if you don't believe that God doesn't curse entire nations because they go against what he wants, just ask Zionist Israel. They are cursed right now with all sorts of violence, terror, destruction. Look at what's happening in Israel right now. You ain't seen nothing yet until God gets his hands on Canada. The way Israel is hogging up the holy land, that holy land, that land that's the birthplace of Jesus, that land, that holy land he gave to all 3 main Abrahamic religions. And you see, look at the Zionists, and I don't say Jews because Jews and Zionism are not the same thing. The Jews taking it all for themselves. They're going against God. And besides that, the Jewish religion says there's no Jewish homeland until the Messiah comes. So they're going against even their own God. But we share the same God. It's the only difference is that we don't. One has a Messiah and one does not. But anyway, let's not talk about that. Canada is going to go through the same thing. I am predicting that. That is a prediction. And you've noticed a lot of my predictions have been proven right, huh? Canada is going to be cursed. In fact, Canada is probably already cursed. While the rest of the world is moving forward, Canada's stuck backwards. Look at it. Look at it. Look, Canada, I think it's going to happen economically. I don't know if you're going to see rockets and stuff like in Israel, but a curse is a curse. Doesn't matter how the curse is brought out. Israel is cursed with violence and rockets and death and destruction and fear and living on eggshells 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and bomb shelters. Canada will be cursed in a different way. I think it'll be economically. I think that we're going to live in an economic period that's worse than Venezuela. You're going to start seeing people losing their jobs, businesses leaving. You're going to see entire communities, factories shut down, people all living on the street, eating out of the garbage, dead dogs on the street, garbage don't get picked up. That's what Canada is going to be cursed with. Canada is going to be cursed economically. I'm going to tell you that. Canada is going to be cursed by God for what they're doing to all these pastors. But those like Pastor Tim Stevens, Pastor Art Pawlowski, and Pastor James Coate, God will bless them. And God will spare individual Canadians from the curse. He'll spare them. while all the other Canadians who didn't do anything, who didn't recognize the Sabbath, who stood by quietly while Christians were being thrown into jail unjustly, violently, being indignified, while all those Canadians are forced to eat pig droppings and pigeon droppings for soup and pig droppings for tea, and all of their earthly goods turn to dust, and they lose their jobs, eating out of garbage cans, living in shelters. We at Arana Nation will be blessed. Pastor Art Pawlowski will be blessed. Pastor Tim Stevens will be blessed. Pastor James Coates will be blessed. While Doug Ford is living with the curse, Jason Kenney's living with the curse, Justin Tackett and MacDaddy Trudeau's living with the curse, and all of their supporters and voters, that while they're all living with the curse, the economic curse, the vicious, unforgiving, godly curse, well, they're all living with the curse. We will be blessed. We will be blessed when you stand up against the earthly powers in defense of God. You will be blessed. No matter whether you were a serial killer, a rapist, you were a part of the Taliban, or you were doing drugs or whatever, you can erase all of that by standing with God against the powers of the earth. You erase all of that. If you have the fortitude to stand with God, you stand with God against the earthly powers of the devil. You will be blessed. Yay and amen. And boom, shakalaka goes right there. This arrest is a blessing for this pastor. It's a blessing. To be arrested because you served God. And God might say that you stay there because God, listen, God didn't help Peter when the earthly powers took him in jail for the same thing. God said, Peter, you're going to stay in jail. You stay in there. But that doesn't mean I don't love you. That means that you're staying there. Now, God can get Peter out. He did on numerous occasions. He sent an earthquake to remove him. And God helped me come out of prison, out of jail. It was him. If I didn't have God in my heart, I'd still be in jail right now. And it's up to God. It's up to him. But he always does things for a reason. And he may very well have that pastor stay there. As does he allow Kevin to stay where he is, and Art Pawlowski if he gets arrested again. But there's a reason for it, and it's a good reason. He is using their suffering to bring about a much greater blessing for those who stood with him. Blessing. But this country of Canada, I'm sorry to say, there's going to be a period of a long curse for Canada. I'm telling you. Be prepared. Put on your sackcloth and ashes. I'm telling you, Canadian, you're about to be cursed. Just like Israel, you're going to be cursed. It's going to happen. It's not a matter of if, but when. Anyway, I'm not going to flip myself on you much longer. This is your